Welcome back, my millionaire divas. It's a pleasure having you stop by today. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to use regular braids, which the brand is Expression, and I'm going to show you that you can use regular canacolum braids to accomplish any hairstyle in crochet that you may want to desire. In this case today, I am going to show you how to achieve a crochet curly mohawk if you cannot find like a weave pattern or a weave, especially in the 613 color. You may need something like a quick weave, and most quick weave you may not really find it in a 613 right offhand in the beauty supply store. And I'm talking about for my ladies that lives in the Caribbean. For those in the United States, you have a wider option, but for us, we don't have that option. So I started to blow dry my client hair, and after I blow dry her hair, I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil, and I'm gonna moisturize her scalp and her hair with that, because you have to make sure that you keep your hair protected while they are braided underneath as a protective style. Close your eyes, only got one eye, just put your trust in me, give me everything, I need your love tonight, so baby please don't fight it, put your trust in me, I'll give you everything. I'm now gonna go in and braid her hair with yarn. It's the non-acrylic yarn that you use. People use them to crochet, people use them to do whatever they want to do, but in this case, this one is the one that marked Red Hot. I think that is the brand of it, Red Hot. So the reason why I'm using this is, instead of using regular braiding here, is because it is light and it doesn't bulk the hair. I don't know, sometimes if you realize, if you're braiding natural hair, you would realize that if you add a braid to it, sometimes it gives you a bulk, especially when you're doing crochet. You want it to be as flat as possible. And also, my other purpose of this is because when I am actually braiding the client's hair, it doesn't put too much tension. Even if I braid the hair a bit tight, it doesn't put too much tension on the client's hair, so the client don't really feel much, but it holds the hair really perfectly. So this is the reason why I am using the yarn. So all of her hair is braided back into the center. I do not remember how many plaits. I think probably eight or so, but I am going to crochet that piece that is out into her hair itself. In the back, I do not use weaving thread when it comes to crocheting. Close your eyes, only got one eye, just put your trust in me, give me everything, I need your love tonight, so baby please don't fight it, put your trust in me, I'll give you everything, so hold on. Never let me go, right here in your arms, that's where I wanna be. So this is the braid that I'm using. I'm using the brand Expression, and the inches is 84 inches long, and it is extremely long. And I think further down in the video, I will show you how to cut it and how I get it all smooth and stripped out and stuff like that. Right now, I had already prepared one pack ahead of time, so further down in the video you will see how I prepared the hair before installation. Okay, now this part is kind of weird for me to explain what I'm doing. So what I have done was taken the initiative to zoom in onto what I'm doing so that you can actually see what I'm doing, because the last time I tried to explain it, I feel like I was just all over my tongue. So I guess I would just allow you to watch what I'm doing and see if you understand. If you don't understand, you can just say something in the comment section letting me know that you do not understand what I'm doing, or you want me to give you a specific video short clip of how to install braid in crochet, especially probably this one, because different crochet style consists of different crochet techniques. So if you do not understand or cannot understand what I'm actually doing in this video, say it please in the comment section, and I will do an updated one for you, something short so that you can understand. Thank you. This is the section where I'm going to show you how I prepare the braid before installation, because I ran out of braid. I used about 1.5 pack, but I prepared 2 packs of the expression here. So this is my second pack, and I didn't use the full second pack. I used about half, so it's about 1.5 pack to accomplish this style. So I'm assuming that if you have to do your whole head, you may use probably 2.5 packs, or maybe 1.5, depends on the size of your head and depends on the fullness of curl that you are actually going for. Close your eyes, only got one eye, just put your trust in me, give me everything, I need your love tonight, so baby please don't fight it, put your trust in me, I'll give you everything, so hold on. Now what I'm doing here, we call it stripping of the braid. And the reason why we do this, if you're watching this video and you're not a braid person or a braider and you're not familiarized, why we do this? Well, we strip the braids because when we applying the braid into the client's hair, it gives the braid an evenness, especially like if you're gonna braid the hair down to the end. I'm gonna use box braid for example. Have you seen box braid and the ends are just like from the beginning they go fat and then come down to the end they go thin, and they just have that uniformed look? Well, this is the reason why we strip the braids, so that the braids would have a uniform look and that it wouldn't have basically a blunt end. Now this specifically for this style, we do not want a blunt end because I am going to curl the braid, and if you have a blunt end with the curl, the braid may not stay wrapped on the roller. So I needed that fishtail end so that I could have the leisure of wrapping the excess piece around the roller. The other section that I'm doing, when you finish strip the braid, you're gonna take pieces over into the other hand, basically pulling it apart until you finish pull all apart, and then you're gonna comb it out until you get it extremely smooth. It's very simple. Close your eyes, only got one eye, just put your trust in me, give me everything, I need your love tonight, so baby please don't fight it, put your trust in me, I'll give you everything. This is another section that I'm going to show you how to do the crochet again, but I actually did it a bit faster in this one, so I guess you can see what I'm doing again. You can loop it about 3 to 4 times. I started out looping it at 4 times because the back is easier to get loose than the top, and some sections I just did like 3 loops and I'm finished. But it's up to you. Whichever you feel comfortable doing, you can do. Close your eyes, only got one eye, just put your trust in me, give me everything, I need your love tonight, so baby please I'm going to show you how I achieve the end part of the crochet. I left out the two, actually they're going to be the two last braid, the first braid and the last braid. So I left them out because I'm going to use those two as my invisible section. We call this method that I'm doing is the invisible crochet. The reason why we call it invisible crochet is because you would not be able to see the knots that you saw I did for the rest parts of the braids. Some call it knotless, some call it invisible, but I call it the invisible. You're basically doing the same thing that you did for the knot one, but the only difference is that instead of pulling through the whole braid into the loop, you are going to pull one piece of the braid and it will be knot, but then the other half that loops over is going to hide the knot. So if you look carefully, you will see that I install the crochet pin and I pull it with the crochet pin about 3 times and then pull it tight, and then the section that does not have the knot actually folds over where the knot is. This is what I was explaining earlier when I said the knotless. When you comb the hair in the direction that you want it to go to, you will not see any of the knots. So this is why we call it the invisible. It would look a bit more realistic in this case. Oh, just as a reminder, I did not apply any product into the braid. All I did was comb it with my detangled brush, pat it in sections, and add the rollers. I didn't add any product at all to the braid. I am now going to put some hot water onto the curls so that it can actually make the braids curl. Please to make sure that when you're doing this process that your client is highly protected with towels, thick towels, and maybe a cape, because you don't want to get anybody, whether it's your client, your friend, your family, you don't want to get no one burned up. So please be careful. The water that I'm using, nothing is in the water. It's plain hot pulping water in a cup. So what I did was basically try to get, I did at least 2 at a time, and sometimes I went back over 1 or 2 if I feel like it wasn't fully covered with the hot water. But basically all I did was try to get each and every one of the curls into the saturated into the hot water. Use the towel, dried it, left it to air dry. You have the option where if the client need the hairstyle like right away, you can put the client under the dryer to dry it, or you can take a regular hand dryer and dry it. In this case, my client had an event the evening, so she left and I let her go with the rollers, and she came back and I took them out when she came back to do her makeup. So in this case, they were air dried. There was a bit damp still, so what I did was I took the towel and I squeezed, well, when I removed all of the rollers, I squeezed them with the towel, so that helped to take out some of the water. As you can see, I'm removing them, and what I did was separate them into 2. I remove all the rollers and I separate by opening them. You know, you just take your time and freely open each and every one of them and maneuver it. My battery died, so you didn't get to see me fully finishing the style, but all I did, like I said, open all the curls, hand played with them. I took my large teeth comb and I pulled up from the root a bit to give it a bit more volume because we're going for a mohawk. And then I took my small rat tail comb, I combed up the sides, and I used large bob pins, and I bob pinned both sides so that it would give me a height and so that the hair would remain in the center. And then all I did was use large regular hairpins and form the mohawk, pin them into place. I did whatever clipping that was necessary. Some was too long, some was too short, so I did whatever clippings I did. After that, that's basically it. I sprayed it with some hairspray, which is some oil sheen and some holding hairspray so that, you know, the hair would stay into place. And that's basically it. That's all I did. Thank you, ladies, for tuning in once again. I do hope, as always, that this video is informative for you. If you have any questions, kindly leave them below in the comment section. I will get to you as soon as possible. If you made it through the end of this video and you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? The button is right there on the right side, and when you hit the subscribe button, there's going to be a cute little bell. Click it so that you can get notifications of me every time I upload a new video each and every week. If you're new on board, thank you to all of the new subscribers, my millionaire divas. Thank you for joining the Millionaire Club. I would definitely love to see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching. God bless. Mwah.
Close your eyes, only got one night. Just put your trust in me. Give me everything. I need your love tonight. So baby, please don't fight it. Put your trust in me. I'll give you everything. So hold on. Never let me go. Right here in your arms is where I wanna be. Never let me go. me